All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the U.S. and China,
Okay.
and specifically how their relationship is. Kind of get a little tense these
Yes.
days. And we found this really interesting news report
Yep.
to kind of dive into. And the interesting thing about this one is that it's in Urdu.
Oh, wow.
So it's
That's fascinating.
yeah, it's a whole different perspective on this whole thing, and I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting these outside perspectives, I think, is so crucial to really understanding the whole picture of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, jumping right into it, the thing that really stood out to me in this report was,
Hmm.
it said that China had declared that they were ready for any kind of war with the U.S.,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty intense language. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not something you see every day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a pretty big statement. And I mean, I think it's important to take it seriously.
Yeah.
And it comes at a time when, trade tensions between these two countries are really escalating. This report mentions, the U.S. putting these new tariffs on Chinese goods and then China retaliating with their own tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, especially soybeans.
So why soybeans? I mean, why is that such a big deal in this whole trade war?
Well, soybeans are like a huge U.S. export to China.
Yeah.
They're used in everything from animal feed to all sorts of different food products. And so by targeting soybeans, China's really kind of hitting a sensitive point in the U.S. economy, especially for American farmers who
Right.
rely so much on this trade.
Yeah.
But it also, it impacts Chinese consumers and businesses who depend on those affordable soybeans. So it's really a way for China to kind of exert pressure and show that they're not afraid to inflict some economic pain.
Yeah. So it's almost like they're both playing this game of
Basketballs.
chess, trying to like one up each other.
Yeah, it's like a chess game, but with like real world consequences. It's
Yeah.
affecting businesses and people's livelihoods on both sides.
Right. And on top of that, we've got this whole cyber espionage thing going on. The report mentions that the U.S. has indicted like 12 Chinese citizens,
Mhm.
and they're accusing them of, targeting government agencies and universities, even individuals.
Mm.
How does all that fit into this, this whole bigger picture of the relationship?
Well, cyber espionage really adds like a whole other layer to this, to this already strained relationship. Because now it's not just about economic competition anymore.
Right.
It's about national security. I mean, think about it. If a country can hack into another country's critical infrastructure or steal valuable intellectual property, I mean, that gives them a huge strategic advantage.
Yeah.
It's a very serious threat.
So it's not just about stealing data. It's about potentially
Hmm.
disrupting, like essential services or getting military intelligence.
Absolutely. Or
Yeah.
even undermining a country's ability to compete economically.
Right.
I mean, it's really scary stuff.
That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, and what I think is so interesting is that this report in Urdu, it helps us see how all these tensions are being perceived, outside of just the US and China.
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of other countries, this rivalry has huge implications for their own economies, their own political alliances. I mean, they're caught in the middle trying to figure out how to deal with this, especially increasingly complex geopolitical landscape.
It really shows you just how interconnected the world is. So we've got these trade tensions, with tariffs being used as like weapons. We've got these accusations of cyber espionage, which just adds to the distrust. And then on top of all of that, we've got this really bold statement from China about being ready for any kind of war. I mean, where do we go from here?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's really impossible to predict the future with any certainty. But this whole situation definitely raises some serious concerns. I mean,
Yeah.
are these tensions just going to keep escalating? Are we going to see, more aggressive actions and reactions? Or is there any path towards, de-escalation and cooperation? I mean, it's really hard to say.
Yeah, I think that's something we all need to be thinking about. Because, this isn't just some far-off conflict between two superpowers. This has the potential to impact all of us
Yeah,
in ways that we probably don't even fully understand yet.
absolutely.
And I think one of the big takeaways from this whole deep dive is, it's a good reminder that looking at news sources in other languages
Yep.
can give us, such valuable insights and a much broader perspective on global events. It's a good reminder that, there's always more to learn and understand, especially in a world as complicated as ours. So, yeah, I think that's it for today's deep dive, but
Yeah.
definitely keep those ears open for more. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into something else fascinating.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next time.